Hello children, welcome back to your literature class of Standard 3. Today we will start a new chapter, chapter number 10, The River Bank. This is an extract taken from the book The Wind in the Willows, written by Kenneth Grahame. He was a Scottish writer. He was born in 1859 and died in 1932. In this story, we will see that how the rat and the mole became friends. So let's start.
The river bank. The mole had been working very hard all the morning cleaning his little home. So here we see that mole had been working very hard for cleaning his little home. First with brooms, then with dusters, then on ladders and steps and chairs. So for cleaning his little home, first he used brooms, then dusters, and then he climbed on ladders and steps and chairs. Then with a brush and a pail of whitewash till he had splashes of whitewash all over himself. After all the things like brooms, dusters, ladders, steps and chairs, he also used brush, a pail of whitewash. Pail means bucket of whitewash, and while whitewashing his little home, he had splashes. Splashes means drops of liquid. So he had splashes of whitewash all over him. This is fine, he said to himself. So after finishing his work, he said to himself that that was fine. He has finished his work very nicely. Then jumping off all his four legs at once, he bolted up the steep little tunnel, which took him nearer to the sun and air. As he wandered along, suddenly he came to the edge of a river. Never in his life had he seen a river before. So as he finished his work, he jumped off all his four legs and he wanted to go out in the fresh air. So he bolted up. Bolted means ran. He ran up his steep little tunnel, and which took him nearer to the sun and the air. In the fresh air, he was out of his tunnel, and as he was there, he started wandering along, moving here and there. While wandering along, he came to the edge of a river. Edge means the bank, the side of the river. And when he reached there, he was surprised to see the river because never in his life he had seen a river before. The mole was fascinated by the gleams and sparkles, the rustle and swirl, and the chatter and the bubble of the river. So, when he reached the bank of the river, the side of the river, he was fascinated. Fascinated means interested. He was actually attracted by the clear, bright, and soft light that the river was reflecting. He was also attracted by the rustle and swirl. Rustle means the soft crackling sound made by the river. Swirl means the circular movement made by the water of the river. And the chatter. Now here chatter means to talk quickly and in non-stop manner. So it seemed to him that as if the river was talking to him in a friendly manner, non-stop. Okay? And he was also attracted by the bubble formed by the river water. So all these things were very interesting and they attracted the mole. As he sat on the grass and looked across the river, he saw a dark hole in the bank opposite, just above the water's edge. So, when he was attracted by the river, it seemed very interesting to him. So, what he did? He sat on the grass, and as he sat on the grass, he looked across the river, and there he saw a dark hole in the bank opposite. That means where he was sitting, just opposite to that bank. That means opposite means on the other side of the river. There he saw a dark hole over there that was just above the water's edge. Something bright and small seemed to twinkle down in the center of it, vanished, then twinkled once more like a tiny star. But it could hardly be a star, and it was too glittering and small for a glowworm. Then, as he looked, it winked at him, and so the mole knew it was an eye. In the center of the dark hole, the mole noticed that something bright and small seemed to twinkle, and then it vanished. Vanished means it disappeared suddenly, and then twinkled once more like a tiny star. Then he started guessing to himself that it couldn't be a star, and it couldn't be a glowworm also, because it is too bright, too glittery, and small for a glowworm. Then what happened? Then it winked at him. Wink means to close one eye and open it very quickly. So that time he understood that it was an eye. A small face began gradually to grow up round it like a frame round a picture. So the mole was able to see now a small face that was coming out slowly from the hole. A brown little face with whiskers, small neat ears, and thick silky hair. It was the water rat. Now the mole was able to see that it was a brown little face with whiskers. Whiskers means long hairs that grow near the mouth of some animals such as mouse, cat, etc. It had small neat ears and thick silky hair, and he recognized then that it was a water rat. "Hello, mole," said the water rat. "Hello, rat," said the mole. "Would you like to come over?" asked the rat. "Oh, I would love to," said the mole. "But how do I cross the river?" So here we see that both these creatures, they greeted each other, they said hello to each other, and then the rat asked the mole to come to his side, but the mole replied that he would love to go there, but he don't know how to cross the river. The rat said nothing but stooped and untied a rope and pulled on it. Then he lightly stepped into a little boat which the mole had not seen. It was painted blue outside and white within, and was just the size of for two animals. The mole thought it was wonderful, even though he did not yet fully understand its uses. So, to mole's question that how to cross the river, the rat did not give any reply. He just bent down to untie a rope and pulled the boat, which the mole did not notice earlier. The rat entered the boat, and the boat seemed very interesting to this mole. Although he did not know that what are the uses of the boat, but it seemed very interesting to the mole. The color of the boat was blue outside and white within. The rat rowed smartly across the river. Rowed means paddled or moved the boat in water using oars. Oars are long pole, flat and wide at one end, and they are used for moving small boats through water. Then he held up his forepaw as the mole stepped carefully down into the boat. So the rat held up his front paw to help the mole to step into the boat. "This has been a wonderful day," said the mole. "Do you know, I have never been in a boat before in all my life." "What?" cried the rat. "Never been in a you never well I what have you been doing then?" So after listening to Mole that he had never been in a boat before in his life, the rat was shocked. He was actually not able to accept that this was the first time that the mole was mm, enjoying boating. "Is it so nice as all that?" asked the mole shyly as he leaned back in his seat and looked at the cushions, the oars, and felt the boat sway lightly under him. So the mole, in a shy manner, he asked the rat that everything was so nice, the cushions, the oars, and the boat sway. Sway means the slow movement from side to side in a rhythm. The boat was moving slowly in a rhythm, side to side. So all these things was liked. They were liked by the mole. "Nice? It's the only thing," said the rat as he leant forward for his stroke. "Believe me, my young friend, there is nothing half so much worth doing as simply messing about in boats." Simply messing. He went on dreamily messing about in boats, messing. So, to Mole's question, the rat replied that it was not only nice, but there was nothing better than simply messing about in boats. Messing means enjoying the time. And he repeated the word 3 more times, and he went on dreamily. Dreamily means in he went so deep into his imagination of pleasant thoughts of boating that he did not give much attention to what was happening around him. "Look out!" cried the mole suddenly. It was too late. The boat struck the bank. The rat lay on his back at the bottom of the boat, his heels in the air. About in boats or with boats, the rat went on calmly, picking himself up with a pleasant laugh. "In or out of 'em, it doesn't matter. If you are free this morning, shall we drop down the river together and have a long day of it?" As the rat was deep into his imagination, the mole warned him, but it was too late for the rat to handle the situation, and the boat struck the bank. It hit the bank, and because of that, the rat he lost his balance and he fell in the boat. His back was at the bottom of the boat and heels in the air. But still he completed his sentence about in boats or with boats. The rat he went on calmly. He was not worried that he had fallen down. He picked himself up with a pleasant laugh. In or out of M. M is the short form of them. So he used many prepositions for for messing in boats, with boats, about boats, in boats, out of them. So he loved messing about in boats so much that he used all the prepositions for messing about in boats. And he asked the mole that he if he was free that morning, then they shall spend their time the whole day in doing something that he liked to do. The mole leaned back into the soft cushions happily. "What a day I'm having," he said. "Let us start at once." So they started messing about in boat once more. Okay, children, here we have finished this story. We will meet again in the next video. Till then, stay safe, take care. Thank you.